Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is RIFTnationnetwork, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello, everyone, and how are we doing there today? Welcome to another episode of Becon in the Dark with Susan Swanbeck and
Marcy?
So, before we get started today, just to let you guys know, this episode has been brought to you by Ghost of Staunton. Booze, paranormal equipment, and SS Crystal and Crafts, which you can find over on Facebook under Susan Swanbeck. So today we actually have a topic. Oh my God, world never cease. I just, sometimes you're in the world and you go out there and certain individuals, it's like, okay, maybe I should do a topic on this because you see all these individuals out there and they're upset or they're hurt, and you can see that people are depressed, because depression, believe it or not, comes out sometimes as anger. Let's give a prayer Oh, I don't know what's going on. So I guess we're going to give a prayer to Boo Paranormal Equipment. So hopefully everything's all right there. So take a minute and send some blessings over. I have no idea what's happening. So hopefully everything is okay. But so I figured I'm sitting here and sometimes Marcy will send me something and it's like, you know what? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. So, but yeah, their warehouse. Oh my God. Okay, they had an issue with their warehouse. So definitely send your prayers over. Yeah, there was a warehouse issue with Boo's Paranormal Equipment, and this comes straight from Mr. Odell. So definitely send out some prayers and some likes that they did not lose everything because that's an awful thing to happen after dealing with fire. Yeah, you can see my dog behind me.
I know. I saw a
That's it.
movement. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
that's
think it's
Otis
a
behind
spirit.
me. Let me guess. I'm trying to do a show and this one decides he's got to go to the bathroom, right?
They like the
Yeah,
energy of
and
it.
he's pulling the paper. Why does he do that? I got this nice straight paper for him over here, and he wants on it and bunch it into a ball. Like, why? So yeah, and he's doing that. He's walking in circles. He's bunching the whole thing in a ball like he's tearing up grass. So, but yeah, it's pretty bad. So I started like saying, okay, stop. Oh, thank you for the compliment for the hair. It's either this color or gray, white, and blonde, brown, red, and all the other colors. So I could get this one at least. It's a little better. So I was looking it up. And do you know that not just crystals, do you know that there's actually vitamins? So some individuals, coming from an holistic standpoint, some individuals might be feeling that depression because they're actually lacking certain vitamin aspects in their body. I did not know that. Otis,
That makes sense.
are you really serious? Excuse me. Is that better?
You were fine before.
I can't. My dog is trying to take a poop. Well, I'm trying to do a show, and it just looks really funny with him going around. I'm supposed to be doing a show on depression today, and this one's making me laugh in the background. Yeah, he is. I knew it. Now you're gonna sit here and smell it for an hour, Mom. Thanks. Off topic. Oh my, only me. Only me. I swear to God, it's only me. So, so there's been like a lot of cultures and things around the world that have actually used natural remedies. But oh my God, does that stink? Really? Could you bring Ma some air freshener? My God. So there's Jesus Christ. Why me today? Oh my God, he must have just finished his supper, but I think my eyes are watering over here. This is not good. Oh my God, that's big. So there's been cultures. I gotta open a window. Excuse me a minute. I'm sorry. Damn it, Otis. You're killing me. Oh, holy heck. Whoo. Sorry. I had to open a window on that one, okay? I was like, I couldn't deal with
At
it.
least we don't have smell-o-vision there, Susan.
Whoo, that's a really good thing. So, all right. So, like China does like a lot of herbal remedies, right? They do. You go and you get all of your vitamins and your herbal stuff. Wait, I think Japan still does it too, but around here, um, like anything that's holistic is like I don't know why, but if we were back to like the natural stuff, I think it would be better. So I did come up with some supplements. And again, I'm not a professional on supplements. This is research I have done myself. Oh, because it happens. So there's some things you can try, vitamins actually for depression. Now, I don't know whether or not you've heard any of this. Now, scientists have actually found a link between various vitamins and your mood, and in some cases, a deficiency in which certain nutrients may be linked to depression symptoms. In other cases, I guess a higher intake of certain vitamins may be associated with improving your moods. Okay, often researchers are kind of mixed about whether or not this is true. Now, okay, now that, oh my goodness, we'll leave that up a little right now. So, hey, you know the show's live when your dog comes in and it's gotta go right in the middle of it so you can smell it. Oh my God. So dogs are funny. Yes. It's like, she's like, dogs are funny. Yes, dogs are funny. Oh my God. Yeah, it's that kind of a goofy day, I'll tell you. Vitamin B and D are a couple. You were actually right about vitamin D. And think of it this way, what's vitamin D? Sunshine. Some people have issues with the sun. Guess what? I'm one of them. You see all this, guys? That's a pigmentation issue. I can't be in direct sunlight for long. It's dangerous. So, what do? I do take a vitamin D supplement. But I'm going to give you some foods to go along with this too. And then we'll see Marcy's opinion on each one as we go. Now, the research on vitamin D and depression is kind of mixed. Several studies have noted a link between vitamin D deficiency and depression symptoms. Okay. Yet, research studies with more than 18,000 participants found vitamin D supplication did not help boost people's moods in a sufficient way. But okay, still, we do find some benefits um, to supplementing yourself with a vitamin D. Now, people that are housebound or can't be out in direct sunlight, sunlight is what? Your vitamin D. It's a way to bring that sunshine into you. So yes, by not being in the direct sunlight, especially like during the summer, it can cause you to feel down. So a vitamin D supplement will help. But dietary foods that actually do help with that is beef liver, cheese, eggs, fortified products of milk, mushrooms, fishy oils like salmon and sardines are something that would help with something like that. Now, do you feel, because vitamin D is like kind of like the sun in a bottle. That's the sun gives you what? Vitamin D. So do you agree with that? I mean, I'm reading what's coming up online. I want to know if you guys, including Marcy, do you guys agree? Do you think vitamin D helps lift moods or not lift moods? Have you, because you're in healthcare, have you had any experience with that? Do you find people improved with a little extra?
Well, maybe it depends on the manufacturer.
Yeah.
When I was going through all this chaos with my ex years ago, and they were doing the transmedium work, when we were having like the sounds coming down, and Crystal was having like Abe Leakey come through, and this other doctor, and they told me to take valerian root. So if you get like 10 drops of it and put it in your tea, not too heavy.
Right.
That's why I was. It's like Bill, who I was connected with other lifetimes. He was like, it was like, it sounded like two cans clashing together.
Huh.
And I had taken the valerian root, and I
Right.
said, quiet down. He goes, you wasn't saying a word. This isn't a word. He goes, it's my emotions in conflict. I would go take the valerian root, and then I would go take a bath, and I would see these chains breaking on all these different things that are going on. So if you look at it the purest form in the health food store with no alcohol, put a few drops in it. It does make you aware. It's what volume's made out of, you know, and it'll help relax you.
Well, I just looked it up. Valerian root, they say, it enhances like sleep.
Yeah, it's supposed to relax you, but
Yeah. So yeah, that could, if your depression, so to speak, takes on the form of like an anxiety or like being like really angry. Some people when they're depressed, their depression comes out as anger, and now this bug's flying around me.
you're just nonstop. They had one of the things I was watching on Bashar. He was explaining about the spectrum of bliss and joy compared to depression, and then right next to depression is anger. He says it's good to feel anger, because the depression is a feeling of powerlessness. And so when you move those energies, it helps get that body going. Whether like I would like vibrate, shake, voice would
Yeah,
raise, whatever it is that was going on,
I
it gets it. And
I
I
was holding my nose because he was over here and look at the doctor's office gives you a test for vitamin D deficiency too. Yes, they can. Much of it can be toxic, right? See, when I buy something, it's usually 100% natural. A lot of the stuff that I do take is natural supplements, close to like the roots. If you can't, because around here where I live, it's really hard to get. There's like maybe one store, and it's kind of a little expensive. In order to get those supplements you actually need, you'd have to have everything shipped in. But how is it manufactured? How is it done? And when you,
right, that's what I look at. How much you're supposed
yeah,
to take. Each
so
body is different.
right,
Compared to some people need to take half, some take whole, some take two. It depends
right.
on what your body type is.
Exactly. So there's a lot of things. There's the vitamin D, and then over here it says yes, valerian root. Now, what I heard as far as is I heard St. John's wort, but they're saying here that St. John's wort is more of an anti-anxiety herb. When I was told by a Native American that it helps with depression, but does is it the anxiety that's bringing in the depression? That's the hardest part of telling somebody this works, that works, this works, because you can only give them what it works, what the general population says that it could work for, and take it from there, because that's the hardest part. I mean, it's like me, as far as like crystals, I find sunstone is the best crystal for individuals that do feel down, because it brings that sunniness to your personality. But if your depression is off balance, then you want jade. So it really depends. Like they have also have this is the one I don't understand under vitamins. They're talking about vitamin C. Now, why vitamin C? Why and how does vitamin C from an orange help with depression? It makes no sense. So can help improve your mood. How does vitamin C improve your mood? They're not saying how, they're just saying it could.
Well, there's
And
a
again,
little
some of
different
the vitamin C is strawberries, potatoes, peppers, citrus fruit, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli as far as that. But how would a vitamin C help with the depression? I mean, I agree with the supplements and stuff, but I'm more of like the natural type research type thing. So this is just like information for you guys to make your own informed judgment about what you think works for you. So we're just going to give you the information, and you can just go with it and do your research, do your background to figure out which one you think works for you, which category you in as far as your depression, right?
Yeah. One of the things is I'll never feel guilty on something. I may feel remorseful on something
Right.
because actually depression is guilt toward inward. And if you don't deal with the guilt, and the guilt is feeling like I did something wrong. Shame is
Not
I did something
necessarily.
wrong.
Yeah,
What?
not necessarily. In depression, there's like clinical type depression.
But that's what I'm
Now,
saying.
it's
It's
some,
different.
yeah, different. There are different forms of depression. Some are clinically depressed, which
Right.
means that there is no reason behind their depression. And a lot of this has to do, from the research that I've done, is a chemical imbalance. Now,
Right. The
chemical
anger toward
imbalance
inward
in your
of
brain.
guilt.
So it's something you can't really help. Sometimes it could be guilt, other times it's not. It's not about
Shame.
guilt, it's about the chemicals
It,
within your brain. Your brain isn't
there's different facts. There's shame. There's guilt.
different ones.
Um, there's all these different feelings
Right.
that are going on. I mean, when I lost my job and I lost my car, and my son was talking to my daughter, and my son wanted to talk, and I had to push everything back, and
Right.
I had to step back, and I had to feel it and work it through
Right.
on all those different feelings, because everybody goes, I'm fine, because
Right.
most of those people are in denial.
I could give you the definition of the word fine, except we might get booted, so I won't. Yeah, so it depends. Like it's weird when I'm talking clinical type depression, I'm talking about someone not depressed over a situation or something that happened. I'm talking about the
Can't get out of bed.
individuals that can't seem to get out of that depressed state. It could come out in anger, it could come out in tears, it could come out in withdrawal from the world. So it could look like depression can look like so many other type of symptoms out there. That's the problem. Oh, you're having anxiety. They're just fixing what's on the top. They're not fixing the root cause. And that's what you need to really look within yourself and fix that root cause. What do we got here? Let's see. We have Linda Nielsen says our bodies work so much together that it may be certain types of vitamin C help boost your immune system, which may um, eliminate help with the hormone issue, which can be affected your mood. Yes, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is it. All different opinions because everybody's different. Oh my gosh, what I wouldn't give even at my age for a scholarship for Boston University to study all of this. I would love that. Holistic medicine. I mean, holistic psychology, yes, I have a degree in that. But as far as medicine, it's a totally different topic. But as a holistic counselor, and Marcy, as like a spiritualist, I we look at things differently. Like on the spiritual side, there could be other things that she can pull out and help you. And as far as the supplement side, maybe there's something in there that we can suggest. So yes, that's a good thing as far as vitamin C. Now here's another one. Let's try to figure this one out. Magnesium.
That's the one I was looking for. If we could take
Yeah.
magnesium baths or soak them in our feet, or they were saying, I want to try that sometime.
Yeah, they're saying research shows a link between low magnesium levels and depression. Uh-huh. They don't know how the two are related, and they did do a study of 17,000 people that actually found claims to this. And they said the magnesium supplement was actually helpful for women, but not men. Why is that? So you can get the magnesium in avocado, bananas, dark chocolate, well, nuts. I love tofu. Seeds. I like to plant seeds. So they're saying that. They say this. They say some will work on women and some won't work on men, but that isn't generally true. Wouldn't it have more to do with, yes, our hormonal changes, okay? When we are younger, men and women are different as far as our hormones. But when we get older, women goes through menopause, hair starts growing out where it's not supposed to. So what's to say we're not the same when we get older? So to me, it's a catch-22. What's your opinion on this? If magnesium only works, they're saying, according to this article, it only works on women, but when we get older and women lose some of their like female hormonal type
Yesterday.
imbalances, their estrogen, wouldn't that make them more balanced with the males?
Well, it all depends on what they're dealing with emotionally, mentally, psychologically, physically. And you got to remember, it's like depression, anxiety are on the left side of the brain. So a lot of people overthink things. They
Right,
get caught up in the overthinking. That's why when I do my tones, it's the right side of the brain
right,
because it helps release those energies, whether it's your inner child, anxiety.
right.
And so you've got to look at whatever your fear of your future is an anxiety or your depression of stuff you get stuck in that loop type of
Yeah,
thing and cut it through and not my belief system or
yeah.
scream, yell, whatever you need to do to get that energy out.
My son's making a baking request, by the way. Crazy Org is my son, my oldest. Boo, 1,000-foot tall marble cake.
He's making a what?
A baking request. He keeps
Baking.
making, yes, unusual baking requests. He wants a marble
Okay.
1,000 feet tall. Yeah, right. How many step ladders I need for that one? So it's like, that's what I think about it. When we're younger, female hormones and male hormones are extremely different. But as we get older and the female loses part of their estrogen or their estrogen, that's right, right?
Yeah.
The female one.
Estrogen.
Thank you. What's the male again?
Testosterone.
Thank you. So as we get older and one loses, like the female's losing one like this, and the male's losing one, and all of a sudden, does that mean they're even? Does that mean that the supplements that we took when we were younger works differently as we get older? Me, my opinion, yes. I think they do. I think it depends on not just our age, but I think it depends a lot on our hormonal level. Some of the stuff that will work for women and don't work for men might work for men. Some of the stuff that won't work for men might work for women. So it's really hard to pinpoint that.
I always say hormones and harmony go hand in hand.
Yeah.
That what causes a chemical imbalance in the brain,
Right.
whether it's that depression, anxiety, denial, whatever you want to call it.
Denial is not a river in Egypt.
But it's all that chemical energy that's happening. I gotta do a tone. That energy's coming through. I don't know if like somebody needs to, if we're light bulbing moment people.
Somebody out there is having a hot flash. Let it go. Hey.
I like it. See, I never, when I went through menopause, I never went through any of that stuff.
I didn't have hot flashes either. That's why okay, what is this? Marcy's going to do a tone. We don't need the same exact thing after we go through our monthly time. Then we do once we start menopause and beyond. Exactly. So let's get rid of some of this anxiety and we'll keep
all this buildup
discussing.
Energy, triggering, all that stuff that going on.
Marcy, your job is to do the magic and help.
Back to a lot of energy. That wasn't me. Somebody's energy is screaming and releasing.
That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, and that's what it does. It releases that. It's like we have these wounds, kind of like a hard shell, like we do. But then once they open up, then they ooze out, kind of like that wound needs to drain. And all these people usually have that hard shell energy that goes on.
Exactly. So.
Somebody's second chakra just exploded. I just saw like a poof. And that's where all that energy, you got to look at, we're a body that's like a symphony, and our violin may be out of tune, which causes some type of depression, disease. And so if we look at our bodies and fine-tuned, our cells regenerate all the time. And so if we release all those energies, then it said those light codes are coming in and our body is getting that emotional weight loss.
Which works now because like we're older or even teenagers and younger. But when younger kids have a chemical imbalance that nobody can figure out, they sometimes label them as ADD or ADHD.
Right.
how do they know it's not something else? This is always the catch. We were just talking about getting older, right? Here's one: zinc. Okay, they're showing that zinc can actually help depression. This is something I guess our body lacks when we get older, it's saying. So they're saying that more research is needed. Of course, they're always saying that. But you get that in beans, milk, nuts, seafood, and of course, seeds. Another one is calcium. Low levels of calcium and depression. They're saying this is something that would happen when you get older as well. So we can eat more foods of, let's see, cheese, dark leafy greens, milk, sardines, soybeans, yogurt. I like. So, and again, there's a couple more, but they're talking when we get older, our bodies are kind of lacking certain things. Now, this links us to the DNA, right? DNA. I did the ancestry DNA, and then I linked my DNA with another site. In this site, it actually tells me what my body is lacking. My body's lacking like 3 or 4 different types of vitamin B's, but I have issues with some vitamin B's because supplements, I can't use the supplements. On certain vitamins my body lacks, I'm resistant to the supplements. And that can happen too. So then you have to get into the food. So there was one, and I think one of them is when I can eat the nuts. Certain things I don't like beans at all, so I will eat the peanuts and stuff like that to try to help. And of course, I love peanut butter. But maybe that's why I love peanut butter so much because I'm lacking it. Like, remember back when we used to talk and you say if your body felt like it needed chocolate, have to eat the chocolate. That's the same aspect. How do we know we're not craving these foods because our body is lacking these vitamins, which could cause our moods to be off? I mean, as we
Well,
grow.
it's like Susan, with the diabetes, I was told to get the sugarless yogurt. I get the Greek yogurt with the fruit in it.
Me too.
And,
Great.
and
Yeah.
the cottage cheese, they were saying that I can actually feel the cells regenerate. When you get in touch with your body, you could feel that. I told the doctor, I said, I'm going to get the ones with the fruit and the sugar. It's
Yeah.
like, she goes, if you could just do, I'm like, no, it's a whole different energy that
Yeah.
goes on that happens. The cottage cheese, it also helps revitalize.
Right.
And I've lost weight. I'm now down to 167. My doctor says I'm doing good, you know,
Right.
and even though I'm lacking the exercise, it's still, I'm listening to what I need.
Yeah.
And when we burn off psychic energy, our body needs lecithin, and
Right.
that has chocolate in it. And
Right.
I also used to like getting those pretzels with mustard on them. Mustard has lecithin in it.
I don't like mustard.
Well, it's just the lecithin in it. And so
Yeah.
I would feel drained, or I get a Nestle's Crunch Bar, or you could feel your body regenerate. Or sometimes I have to go through the computer. Do I want this? Do I want that? And a
Right.
lot of times I'll get this no, and then all of a sudden I'll get this, like, I just had today these really good egg things from Costco.
Right.
You just stick them in, and I made like 2 egg sandwiches.
Right.
You know, that that's what I needed. And so your body, it'll start telling you, oh, when I'm full, my body will push it back up. It'll like, no, you're not going to have this. Or if it's a dangerous type of food or a bad meat, it'll push it back up. Not
Yeah.
like I'm throwing it up, but it's just like danger, danger. And you can feel it.
Stranger danger.
Yeah, you can feel the little cells
Yeah,
going,
yeah,
no,
in a way, yes, but you have to separate what your body is lacking from overeating and your cravings.
right.
So that's like a catch 22. Like most women, when they start menopause, I researched this a while ago. I don't know if it's true with everybody else, but during the time you would have cycled, they say women crave salt. They're not cycling, but they crave that salt. It was true for my mother. It was true for me. It was like I craved that salt. I needed that salt when I used to, and again when I first started. So that's another thing similar to what you were talking about with the
Well,
psychic reading.
and I was reading, my mom and my daughter would like crave chips. And they said that's usually when people crave chips, they're angry. It's like this whole, I don't crave chips, but I do crave, chocolate or sweets as
Yeah,
far as
I've
the
never been
sugar.
big on junk food, and I'm a baker. I know it's really weird.
No, it's.
Yeah,
So your body will, oh, that's what I wanted to say. So I was watching Kelly and Mark and Kelly, and they had the nutritionist on, and they were saying that Kelly was talking about when they were moving, her husband didn't crave sugars,
right.
but then when they were moving, he was eating a whole bunch, and they said the cortisol craves. So our body will crave different things. That
Right.
the cortisol, which is the memory taker aware, holds in all of our stuff. It's kind of funny with all the stuff the cortisol does to us, but it's kind of and I'll find that when I'm depressed,
Right.
again, back to the depression, it's that craving of the sugar. It's the cortisol.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes people will overcrave it and use it as like eating too much of something that makes you feel good isn't good. Like people that try to avoid their emotions through, and they end up becoming alcoholics. It's like,
Right.
or a sugarholic. We can go overboard with what it is that actually helps our bodies. I got a couple more vitamins, but let's see. Monica S says, evening all prayers for, ooh, sorry to hear that. Just wanted to jump in and say hi. Hi. And then we have, our bodies are so full of wisdom that if we learn to pay attention when we're having a craving, we try to figure out what vitamin or mineral or food we are craving. Exactly. So it's just about not going overboard with the particular thing. Our bodies are always trying to achieve balance. And again, that's it. It's learning all about your body. Now, here's another one. They're saying folate, which is a vitamin B9. And they're saying if you take vitamin B9 and B12, it actually eases the symptoms of depression. It doesn't help with it, but it eases the symptoms. Now, multivitamin B, I can't take. It bothers my system. I get tired. Most people, when they take vitamin Bs, they get very energetic. I get tired. I get so tired. All I want to do is sleep. All I want to do is sit down. It's so weird. So even though, according to my DNA, I do lack the vitamin Bs, when I take them, all I want to do is sleep. So we really need to learn to exactly listen to our bodies. And again, it's asparagus, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, leafy greens, sunflower seeds, peanuts, which I do try to eat a lot of peanuts and stuff. Niacin, which is vitamin B3, I love eggs. I love poultry. So I get a lot of vitamin B3. Now let's see, B12, represents how to improve how well they work. Their vitamin is like with antidepressant can improve, they're saying. With. And again, we're trying to figure out what foods will help us stay more balanced. This is eggs, fish, milk.
Susan,
1 minute. Natural yeast and poultry is what they're actually saying. But the best one is actually probiotics. Probiotics are the best thing to take because it balances your inner body. And I do take a probiotic, and I find it extremely helpful. Sorry, Marcy, go ahead.
here's a devil's advocate. Okay, because a lot of times I'll take a bath, that'll be cleansing,
Yep.
the water, the energy, and I'll fall asleep during watching shows. But part of it is maybe your body is tired, so it can go to sleep so it can heal. If
Yeah,
you
I
eat,
get depressed. I take a multivitamin B and I get depressed.
you get depressed or you get tired.
I get depressed and tired. So I can't
Okay.
take it. I took it for a week and it was like, yep, nope. But see, according to my DNA, And this is why I truly believe in DNA. According to my DNA, my body is resistant to certain supplements. And that's what, if you take an actual, even a natural vitamin B or natural ED, my body is resistant to it. I can get the nutrition I need through the foods. I just have to make sure I have the foods around. Because according to my DNA, um, my body is resistant to certain supplements. It won't absorb the supplements. It kind of shoves them in the wrong
And
direction,
that's not like
which makes sense.
what's
Including my
happening.
pigmentation issue. I
And,
thought I was the only leopard in my family. It's my DNA.
and that's what I'm like saying. It's like,
Yes,
okay, when I do the tones, it heals like 7 layers of generations.
exactly.
But they've had studies where with mice and worms, where a mice will be in danger and it'll eat something, and then the grandchild won't eat it. Or the same thing with the worms. There's like
Yes.
a DNA, it's like maybe something back and foraging for food, somebody got poisoned. There's
It,
some
it could
DNA
have been. I
synergy
think of it that
that
way. It
goes
could have
on.
been.
And
Because we
that's
haven't even added the past lives in here yet.
what?
It could have something to do with past lives or
Right,
ancestral
right.
DNA. Yeah.
And after I gave birth to my daughter, it's like I said, that whole I could feel the cells pushing everything up as
Yeah.
to we don't want this. And so our cells, when we start listening to our body, do we want this? Do we want that? It will tell us. Well, I got to do another tone. Something's triggering somebody, but there's all these different multi levels of it. Travis and I will go through this whole different thing of do I want this? Do I want that? No, I'm not feeling this. We always have sugar in the house, pastries, and
Yeah.
you know, it craving whatever it is that was going on. Somebody did like an EVT where they were cross country and they did a reading on me, and they're like, I'm something with eggs. I can't eat the eggs. I can eat eggs once in a while,
Right.
but in general, like your body loves eggs. My body's like, no, we'll buy a dozen eggs and they'll sit in the refrigerator. So we have to always throw them out.
Yeah, not me.
No, I know. And that's what I'm saying. It's kind of funny where your body is craving. I could hear whoever that is just right through me. Um, I guess I got to clear some stuff out, some energies, and you will crave different things. There's times I've worked on people and we'll have a full meal. And then it's like an emotional workout, like going to the gym. And then we'll have another meal right when we're done. Because our body is processing so much stuff
Right.
or working through or releasing or whatever it is that's going on. All right, I got to hit a low note. I don't know if you're burping, somebody else is burping, but I feel like I need to burp. And I'm also, it's like there's times I'll work on people and I'll hear like a hissing sound, like a snake, like a,
Yeah.
and I'm hearing that. So somebody is releasing something on that sound energy. I don't know if people are feeling better, worse, lighter, but you're shifting. We're not supposed to age.
Aha. Here we
What are
go.
you looking up now?
Oh, I'm looking up the 11 best herbs for depression. And again, these are just articles of information I'm reading. Again, they're saying St. John's wort is number one, but they're saying it's a good herb for depression. But a lot of people saying that it just worked better. People that have anxiety when they're depressed. So to me, that would be more of a form of bipolar. Lemon balm. I clean with everything lemon. I love the smell of lemon. So I do have to agree that that helps. And they're saying that postpartum depression, this herb actually works well
Well,
with that.
and they say the neuron in the brain
Yeah.
goes to anxiety and depression. It just splits. So if we could switch the depression to excitement,
Huh.
it goes to that same part of the brain, that
Yeah.
energy, or when I was reading a stroke of insight, that science teacher lady that had it, where I'll feel like these different old wires that don't work anymore. And I'll pull them out. You could just like, and I remember like with Elohim, I was talking about, oh yeah, I heard about cutting the cords. I'm doing this also with the wires too. We
Right.
don't cut them, we burn them. Because
Yes.
the cutting, they could regrow back. Because everything regenerates in our body. Our cells constantly regenerate. But
Exactly.
basically what I was reading is when they're not, we're stuck. We're not dealing with that energy that goes on, and so we're not going forward on that vibration or frequency or emotion.
I've never heard of this one. This one's called Back Copa. The Copa.
Okay,
Bacopa. I've never heard of it.
okay,
It says it's generally well known. Not by me. So that one I can't help you out with. I've never heard of that one. Chamomile. Here's the issue.
yeah, that
Okay.
that helped when I gave birth to my daughter and I lived with Louisa, and my daughter had an upset stomach. She give her chamomile. It's a Mexican thing, you know.
Right. But if you've taken any type of an antidepressant, stay away from chamomile tea
Okay,
because it'll kick the antidepressant into overdrive. So when, and this is the same thing, like I'm a certified, and I haven't done anything with it in a long time, aromatherapist. Even with aromatherapy, if somebody is on high blood pressure meds, they can't be around peppermint. It knocks the high blood pressure meds off. So
okay.
somebody could be walking around smelling peppermint, eating peppermint gum or something like that, and it'll knock it off. And they're like, I don't understand this. I mean, what I'm supposed to do, it's like a natural
Okay.
thing that's actually working against what you're doing. So it's really hard to try to combine two different things. But
And
if
each
this is
body
something
is
you're looking
different.
for, yeah,
I mean, I was over like when Travis was like 8 or 9, he had met this friend, and the friend's mom owned like a used bookstore. And this is when I was like, I gave both my kids were 10 pounds. So I was up to 250 pounds. So
wow,
she was like looking on and saying, "Oh, you're low on zinc. You're low on this," just by reading on it. And then I talked to a friend that was studying to be a nurse, and she goes, "Well, are you doing this symptoms and this symptom?" I said, "No, then you don't have." So a lot of people are reading things on the internet and they're misdiagnosing themselves.
exactly. And that's why I can only give you guys the information, but you need to do the research. Now, I'm lucky. I actually have a physician who is more interested in helping me out with the new age methods than sitting there prescribing a bunch of medication for it. So when it comes to something like that, if you can find a physician that's willing to help you out with the information, you're really good with that. I mean, because then
Yeah.
you have the medical backup for that. So it's when it comes to that, I'm lucky.
And also, it's like you guys got to remember, it's we have that carbon energy,
Yes,
fear, shame, guilt, anger, and that's like that metaphor, and that's what I do with the coals. You know, it brings our body down. It gets the dis-ease that's going on. And so when I do the tones, it dissipates that carbon energy, because I've healed a couple people with schizophrenia. It just getting that energy rebalanced. Autistic people love sounds. That's what they're meant to take things slow. That's
right.
how part of their lessons that they teach, as far as what's going on. And so everything in the universe is a note or a sound, whether it's high, low.
Right.
It's just a matter of getting in tune to it as to what's happening.
And that's the same thing. Even kids that are autistic, borderline autistic, major autistic, or any type of things, there's so many different levels of it.
Right,
It's like, there's bipolar 1, bipolar 2, bipolar 3. So
right,
somebody can go through several moods where it lasts for months, or somebody could be one person, the next turn around and go, "What are you doing?" That's like that's totally different. So, and it's the same thing with individuals that have depression. It's like if you guys don't want to get into the supplemental aspect of it, or the vitamins, what smell makes you guys feel better? What sound makes you guys feel better? What visual place makes you guys feel better? It's the same aspect of all the information that you're getting right now.
And
Now, for me,
also,
crystals have always helped me. I constantly have them on. I've worked with them for years because that's what works with me. But what works with me might not work with you. Marcy works a lot with tones. So my crystals love the tones. They're always vibrating out. So, hey, win-win on my book. So,
what
you know,
we need to
find what works for you.
switch to the right side of the brain, and that's where the creativity is, and that's where the singing is, that's where the dancing is, that's where all the things are. People get too much into that logical left side of the brain, and like I've said before, it's like my half sister Kathy is like, "Oh, you're going to have an aneurysm." I had it, Andy had it, my sister, mom had it. I said, "No, I heal people." They all get lost in their little fictional books. They get it lost in their little logical minds, the overthinking, and
Yeah.
you've got to feel. You've
It could
got
be
to
the same
express.
thing. Overthinking is dangerous, just like not thinking at all. That's like it's a catch 22.
It
You can go
is.
like one direction or the
Right.
other. It's tough. So we have to learn the balance is what we have to learn.
Well, it's like I took a math class, MASK, and I'm like, I don't have any masks. I ended up doing that thing like 8 layers.
Huh.
You don't know what's going on.
Now, when
It's
you're
like,
talking mask, are you talking ones you wear in your face during COVID or
yes,
something else?
no, the ones you wear on your face.
Huh.
It was like this paper
Well, yeah,
mache.
because you work in the healthcare. Yeah.
Well, no, this was like some workshop I took, and
Oh,
they're like, "Oh, take a math class," you know, and I'm like, "No, I don't have it," and it was like 9 layers thick because we don't know until we get into our zone, our meditative,
yeah.
and all of a sudden it's like, wow, you know, whatever it is going on. I had to suppress a lot of stuff. I lost my 2 teeth because I could feel the nerves, and they found this out with children and stress where their teeth crack. And one of my teeth was fake, and it still cracked
Huh.
because a lot of that suppression, every time I was highly stressed out, because the teeth are all connected to the meridians. Usually they go down, but this time
Right.
they were going up when
Oh.
when the kids were taken away, or when I was taking that nursing school where that I had that bitchy nurse, you know, when I had no car, but I was taking it, it was like it would crack little by little.
Right.
And eventually your body just it breaks down.
Hmm. It does.
And those
Or
are the
you get
lessons I've
you
learned.
piss off and you grind your teeth at night. God, I used to do that a lot. That
Yeah,
was me.
that's again that holding in energy.
Yeah, exactly. So, and
I'm
that's what it
fine,
is.
everything's good, and one of the people I started my journey with, Leanna, we would do tarot cards. And then she ended up, like 20, 30 years later, she moved to Marin. We lost contact. She posted about how she has lymphoma. And I'm like, I want to help her. And she got mad at me. But it was funny. It's like her spirit contacted me.
Huh.
And I'm like, well, what happened? She goes, well, because her husband, she goes, I didn't want to tip the apple cart, So these people will switch over to, we have to be authentic. The whole thing about, I've seen a couple of people that I've known where they'll have split personalities where because one parent was one way and another parent was another way, and then they had to conform to, um, like the one friend of mine, I could always tell when she was upset where she would get into her perfectional self. And the perfectional self is like our shame, blame, guilt, you know. And then they get in the other part where they're more relaxed. But they would have to divide these whole personalities to coping mechanisms as to their mental or how they deal with the world.
What, I can't remember it. What was the name of that movie that it was based off a true story? She had like 23 different personalities.
Oh, you're talking about Sybil.
Yes, that's actually based on a true story.
Oh, it is.
So
And they
the
talk about
amount,
her
the amount
lifetimes.
of different personalities she
Yeah.
actually developed just to keep herself
Coping
safe.
mechanisms.
Think about that. She developed all these different personalities that most of them didn't know she existed just to keep herself sane because of what she went through. Just like
Well,
yes, Sybil, when we're younger and as we grow, if we've constantly been put down, you'll notice that those individuals that always get blamed for something, whether it's their fault or not, you hear them constantly say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry," even if there's nothing to do with them,
right, that was me.
because
Right.
it was their fault. Even if it's not their fault, it's always their fault. They can't do anything right. That, as we grow, can work into a form of depression as well.
Or
Yeah, a lot.
disassociative.
Yeah,
It's disassociative personality disorder. They segregate.
yeah,
It's like murderers. They will compartmentalize. They will go out and they will kill people, and then they'll come back and they'll have a completely normal life because they've
Jeffrey
known how to
Dahmer.
use coping mechanisms.
Yeah,
And then their wives are like, oh, because they learn to be charming or they learn to be. I'm hitting some button with somebody. Somebody's energy is exploding on this,
huh,
you know. And you've got to learn that compartmentalization of
exactly,
what's been going on. It's like
exactly.
the whole thing with my daughter, where my friends would send pictures of my daughters, my grandchildren, even though I don't feel like I'm a grandmother. I'm processing, you know,
Yeah,
because and now it's like she's on my one of my Facebooks, and I compartmentalize. Oh, okay, here's her husband, and then I go on to the next thing. You know,
sorry.
you get to the point of apathy where your brain just doesn't care. You
Yeah,
care, but it's like that you get to that point where it is what it is.
Jeffrey Dahmer, Gary Ridgway murders. Yeah, and
Right.
they all had 100% normal everyday lives, at least as normal as one could be.
Compartmentalization. Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're so charming. There's that, like I told you, the Dr. Phil's book that I called Life Codes. And even his secretary worked him over because what happens is they learn to be so charming because that's all their coping mechanisms. They manipulate people, they build up a trust, they do all these different things as to their personalities, and then the people feel really stupid. But these people are really good at what they do.
occult leaders are the same way.
Right. It's this whole charming personality thing that goes on, and then people
Right.
feel stupid. It's like, well, why didn't I know? And then they get mad at themselves. Another form of depression, but these people are really good at what they do because they
Exactly. Exactly. Guess what, guys? It's 8 o'clock. We covered the whole depression. It's really close to the topic as we could get.
well,
You know, and we
there
was
are so many
close.
aspects.
Yeah, we just went like we broadened it all. That's all. It was all the same
We're
way.
putting all those pieces together. Depression is not just one thing. There's many aspects.
There sure is. I know there isn't much time left, but could you go over goodness, Callie Ma? At some point, she's the goddess that helps get rage and anger. I'm sorry. I know there isn't much time, but could you go over goddess,
That
Callie?
sounds like another subject, another time. Goddess?
Yeah,
That's all. That's mythological. Those are all energy things.
yeah. We can go over some um, goddesses and gods and different levels that they do enhance right now too. All right, guys. I will see you in a half an hour. over
My
on my.
pleasure, everybody. I hope this helped everybody. Take
Over to
back
my
your power.
YouTube.
Take back your energy. Don't suppress it. Don't be the melting pot. I did a whole link thing on it. If we don't, we're gonna blow up. Our body will get disease.
Yes, true. Come over to my YouTube in about a half an hour. I'm doing a bunch of clearance. It's SS Crystal and Craft, supporter of the Rift Nation Network. So that's the link there. Come on over to that. And peace out. And I will see you guys in a half hour on that page. And Tuesday, I will be back to the Rift Nation Network. Peace.